join me. Welcome to the Gisela Di Carlo show, like every Sunday. This time we hope you all noted that it is at 12 o'clock, not 1 o'clock. And if you are here, then you noticed it, right? Let's say hello to our producer, Amnan.
Hello, Gisela. How are you?
I am so glad I'm here. Sundays is always. I enjoy doing this show. And I'm so glad that we have listeners who are listening to me and to you, and that we can interact like this. Um, as I said last Sunday, that I was going on a little vacation, and we did. We had wanted to go to Asateek in Maryland first because it was my husband's birthday, but I saw that there were really bad storm clouds over Washington and Asateek. And Asateek is right, east on the shore from Washington. So um, we thought that there were going to be bad thunderstorms down there, and many in the west and in the midsection of the country in West Virginia. I mean, the devastations were horrible. So we went up north. We went up to Lake Ontario, which we love. And I don't know if I wanted to say that really to everybody because it's a small little island and it is a campground. The whole island is a campground. And you go over a causeway into it, and the island is maybe a mile wide and a mile long. It's sort of round. It's just most charming, and we love it. And so we got there on Tuesday evening, and it was real cloudy and also very windy. And we thought, well, it's going to calm down. We didn't make a fire that evening. But then at night, we had like a hurricane there. Our trailer was rocking. I mean, I thought, oh my God, I hope that thing doesn't fly over. But we had these huge RVs next to us, and they sort of shielded us. So we didn't have the whole brunt of the storm. But let me tell you guys, it was a big storm. But then the next day, as always, the sun was shining and it was beautiful and was gorgeous. And it was just marvelous. But getting there, we had quite a problem. And I wonder if this has happened to one of you guys. We were on the road and we made a little pit stop. We had to go to the loo. And so we used the trailer. We just went right in there. And I know that when I leave the car, I take the key with me. But I asked my husband, I said, do you have to go too? And he said, oh, no, I think I'm going to stay here. Well, I came out of the trailer. He was standing outside of the car. And I said, why did you? He said, oh, well, I thought I'd go too. I said, oh, okay. And I tried the door, and the door was locked.
Oh,
All the
no.
doors was locked because we had our puppies with us. We had our dogs with us. And we have one dog, Teddy. He is a total spastic dog. I mean, he is just really spastic. He was running all over the car and he tripped the master lock on the door. So all the doors were locked, keys were inside, phones were inside, everything was inside. And we were standing there and saying, so now what? It was just really, I mean, my heart sort of like sank.
Windows
I
were down.
try, huh?
Windows were closed. Were up.
No, there was on the back window, we had about this much, the window open,
Oh, well, that's no
because we
problem
had the
then.
front
Yeah.
windows open, but they were rolled up because I was getting out.
Yeah.
So, you know, And I thought my husband would be staying in there. Anyway, it wasn't his fault. I just, it was just a judgment thing. You didn't choose the right thing to do. Take the keys. Anyway, so finally, after I we were talking, and you know what? Here's what is so nice about our country. And that I must say, even though we all gripe about it and we all, this and that, and this is not right and so on. But let me tell you, the people in this country are the most helpful. They are the most, I mean, I went over to because we were at a stop. Thank God we were not beside the road. We were at a rest stop, and there were other people over there. And I thought, well, maybe I'll go, and maybe somebody has a phone who has also AAA, and I can call AAA, and they can come and open the doors for us because it has happened to me before once, and so I was over there, and then my husband, after like about 10 minutes, because it took a while to get even AAA and so on, he came towards me and I said, well, what? And he said, it's open. And apparently one of the truckers there, he reached in and then he had my husband jiggle the door and keep pressing it until it finally opened that one door, and so he could crawl in and open the doors. But he crawled in. He went into the. It's a big suburban, like a truck almost. Okay, and so there he found on the back seat one of the other dogs decided that he was going to get sick all over the seats. So had it. So here you had to go. Let me tell you, he was not. My husband was not a happy camper. He was not. He said, this is ridiculous. Men. I mean, anyway.
Memories. It makes memories.
Well, that's what we said. Another camping story we have to talk about, and we have many because we love to go camping. We love to go cross country, and we don't really go camping. We don't have a tent or anything. We go glamping. We have a shower, and we have a bedroom, and we have a kitchen, and we have a bathroom, and the way civilized people go. But I mean, I don't think I could be doing this with with a tent and a sleeping bag anymore.
Yeah.
Uh, I think I'm too old for that by now.
Well, it's behind
But
you. Now you can laugh at it.
yeah, oh yeah. But that when we went up there, so we almost didn't get there. I mean, it was really, yeah. But here's the thing: I knew one of my dogs, little Charlie, the little black and white one, he does get sick in the car. Not always, but when the season, he hasn't been in a car for a long time. And uh, we haven't gone. This was the first trip we have taken. And then at first he does. Then usually during the year when we keep going, then he accustoms himself to it, and then he is okay. But if you have an animal that does get sick in the car, it does not drive so well, tobacco is a fabulous remedy to give. Tobacco, okay? You can buy it in the health food store. Just give a small little pill to your pet or dissolve it and give it to your pet, and they will not get sick in the car anymore. But yeah, so that was our camping. We met some wonderful people at the campground, and again, a homeopathist, since I always take my remedies with me. Our neighbor next to us looked a little peaked. We didn't know them, but when you drive up and it's like a community. Everybody talks to everybody. Everybody says good morning or good evening. And, you talk to each other. You're helpful with each other and so on. And so I saw the guy, and he did not look well. He looked like he was in pain. And I naturally, you don't go up to somebody and say, "You look like you're in pain." You don't. Not even I do that. But I thought, well, I'll get a chance. So I made this little like a little playpen for the dogs, so I don't have to have them on the leash out there, because it's always a problem when you have three like we have. They get tangled up in the leashes and they bark and they want to run. So I made this like a little corral, but there were stakes that had to go into the ground, and I didn't have a hammer with me, which another thing. I have to have a hammer with you, but I didn't. So he saw me and he came and he said, let me go get my tools. I think I can fix this for you. I can put those stakes in for you. And that was very nice. So we got talking, and he said, "Oh yeah, I've had this headache." He called it a headache, but it was pain from the top of his head all the way down. And I looked at him and I saw that he started to have a little swelling right here. And then I said, "Can I touch you and see your lymph?" And his lymph was swollen really big, almost like a chicken egg that big. And I said, "You have an infection in one of your teeth." And he said, "Yeah, well, I thought so too." So I went to urgent care, and they told me I have to have a CAT scan. And I looked at him and I said, "What?" And he said, "Yeah, they told me I should go get a CAT scan." And I said, "Well, maybe we can try this in a different way." And I happen to have pyrogenia with me, and which is the foremost tooth infection remedy. If you have a tooth problem, your pet has a tooth problem, you have a tooth problem, you take pyrogenia. And so I gave that to him, and I made it in because I had an LM potency. I put it into a water bottle. I said, "Shake that, take it every 15 minutes for the next hour or two, and I'm pretty sure you will be fine." And so they left to the other side of the campground then, so I didn't talk to them again. Um, but since the island is so small and you do a lot of walking, and we took the dogs just before dinner and we walked, and we found their new campsite, and we talked to them. And he said, "Yeah, I feel a little better, but it's still not, and I feel weak, and I feel I just feel sick. I wonder if I'm not coming down with something." I said, "No, you're not coming down with something. You just have a bad infection in that tooth. So let's see that you take that." And I had brought with me a little bit of CBD oil. And I said, "You know what? I'm going to give you a drop of that. You're going to sleep well tonight. And it also helps pain. So you won't have as much pain." Well, he did that. And I had given him my cell phone number. So I had the next morning, I had a text of saying, "Oh, I feel so much better. Thank you very much. It really helped it. I feel like I'm normal again. And, what can we do for you?" And I said, "Well, nothing. I mean, you helped me put the stakes in. I I did that because I don't like people seeing people in pain. And one of the reasons is that I am a homeopathist is because of that reason. I am not a homeopathist because I feel, oh, that's a great way of making money. No, it's a great way of helping people. But it was wonderful that I could help in homeopathy to the rescue again. It was wonderful to see the remedies work. And I really thought, what a gift to give somebody, to stop that person to have pain. And they were a lovely couple from Texas, and they were going on to Canada because it's right on the border up there, the
So talking about
Canadian.
this oil,
What?
so talking about this oil, CBD oil, yeah,
Yeah.
you have
Well,
something
yeah,
you want to talk
CBD
about.
oil is also in my remedy, which I had said last week. And I'm going to talk a little bit more about what is in this bottle that I am so
Bless
sorry.
you, bless you.
I hope I didn't blow anybody away out there. God. Mm.
We were watching America's funniest video something yesterday, and the joke, practical joke, is to put the tip of your fingers in water when you're in a restaurant
Oh.
and go achoo and spray somebody with this water.
Oh. Oh, that's kind of nasty, isn't it? I don't know. Well, kind of funny too. Yeah, I guess. Sort of kids stuff, right? Kids would do
Yep,
something
kid
that.
stuff.
Yeah, grown-ups. Yeah, I was yesterday at this party that they gave for my husband. Because we were gone, so they gave it on Saturday, and it was a lovely. We were all seniors, and it was just really amazing of the first thing. There were little groups. You know how it goes when you go to these parties. They make little groups. This little group talks about that, and this little group talks about that. And it wasn't a large party. It was like 15 people. But in any event, but I was sort of like, because I was walking around a little bit, so I didn't really belong to any group at that moment. And I was listening to what they were talking about, and wouldn't you believe it? They talked about their illnesses. I mean, two of the groups. Oh, and I have this, and I have to go get a CAT scan, and I have to have a biopsy here, and I have to do this. So I clapped my hands and I said, listen, everybody, let's make a pact. Let's not talk about illnesses. Let's talk about what you would like to do and what you think is available to do. Not everything is available to do for everybody. And they looked at me like I came, like I was a Martian. And I said, no, I mean it. Talking about your illnesses, to commiserating with each other, does that make you feel better? No. It usually just enforces the fact that you're sick or feel sick or think you feel sick. Because if we think we feel sick, we do get sick. That is the mind body connection. The mind does govern ourselves. And if we constantly feel ill, now we may be ill or we may be all stressed out, our entire body will feel that way. But talking about it is not going to solve it. Doing something about it. And three of the cell salts Um, they are cell salts. They are the salt that is within our cells, because, as you know, our body is made up of water and salt, and that causes energy and electricity in our body. That's the meridians in our body that gives us that energy. If that is high, and if your cell salts are all in balance, your body feels better. And three of those that I would like for everybody to note down. If you have a pencil, please write these down. You should have these. One is calc floor. Calc floor. Fluor. And that one is predominantly also for the teeth. So if you have teeth problems, or if you have a pet that has real teeth problems, lots of tartar on the teeth, maybe even some decay on the teeth, give them calc floor. The other one is calc phosphorus. Phos is for bleeding. Okay, like on this trip also, two of my puppies decided that they were going to go at each other. And before I could grab one of them and pry them apart, one had bitten the other one in the nose, and it was bleeding like all over the place. So the first thing I did is I took phosphorus out of my homeopathic kit, and before I started cleaning up, I put a few grains onto that cut, right? It was right up on top of the nose, onto that cut. And then I put a few grains into his mouth. It stopped the bleeding immediately. So if you ever have bleeding, use use phosphorus. But for energy and to give you energy, use calc-phos, and also Califos. Those three you should have in your kit all the time, either for your animal or for yourself. What they will do is that will stop you from being totally fatigued, being depleted, um, feeling, like I had too much wine last night. So what I did is I took magnesium fuss, also cell salt, and that settles your stomach. It gave me okay, I can do this. I can do my show. I don't have to feel sick. I'm back to normal. Okay. Also, if you are cramping a lot, lots of cramps, magnesium fuss is the one that you want to take. Okay. So here you have it. You have calc floor, you have calc fuss, califos, and magfuss. Those remedies you should have. You can make yourself an emergency bottle. Use a bottle, a brown bottle, use a glass bottle. Put a few grains of each into the bottle. Use bottled water, fill it up to about 3/4. Shake it real well, keep it in the refrigerator. Whenever you feel really depleted, you feel, oh, you know what? Now, being in the sun, having this terrible heat, let's say you took a walk down the hill or up the hill or whatever, and you come back and you're really depleted because between the sun and maybe not having had enough water, your whole body feels sort of like, oh, I want to wilt. Well, you take that remedy that you made, and within 5 to 10 minutes, you will be up to your normal self. Okay? And you do that for your pets as well. Our little Teddy, who had locked the doors, he does not like to walk. So it was hot there on the beach. Even though there was a nice breeze, it was hot. So what I did is I gave him some of that remedy that I had made. I always have a little bottle of it I take with me. That way I don't have to take each one of these remedies with me. I can just make it in one bottle, and it just says energy on there. I just use it for energy. Also, what is very good is wild ginseng. Oops, sorry,
Oops.
my phone was on, and I'm sorry. So here you have it. Four remedies that really work. Now, talking about my formula that I'm making, as you guys know, I talked last week about it. If you would like to receive a free bottle of this, and I'll talk to you more about what the ingredients are in this bottle, okay? Um, then please email me. It seems like if you did email me, I didn't get it. Maybe you did not misspelled it or whatever. Let me give you a different email address that might work better. Use the email address homeopath, the number 4, me at live.com. If you like to receive one bottle for free, that is a $49.50 bottle that I sent to you free. Okay. Um, and I would like to send at least 10 bottles out. Okay.
That's
So if you,
homeopath. That's homeopath for me at live.com. And the 4 is the number 4. So homeopath, the number 4, me at.
thank you. Yes. Yeah. Any questions so far?
Nope.
Okay.
Actually, nobody. I mean, there's a bunch of people that are watching, but none of them is in the chat. Guys,
Okay.
why don't you just enter the chat?
Yeah.
Just click on it. Put any name in there and go in.
And ask me some questions. I'm sure you have some, and I'd be glad to. It doesn't cost you anything. I mean, when can you ask a health professional questions and you don't have to pay anything for it? Pretty neat. So I'm here for you. So please do. If I don't have the answer, I will get you the answer at next Sunday's show, or I will say, hey, I don't know. I will research it. Um, the ingredients in this bottle are really quite fabulous. Well, one of them is water, and it is a alkalized water. We know that bacteria, viruses, and all kinds of things that make us sick can only live really in acidic hosts. So we want to have something that is alkalized so that through that it is like a preservative naturally, so the bottle doesn't spoil. Um, and the other one, it's good for our system. Okay, one of the biggest ingredient here is nettle. And nettle, the stinging nettle that I'm sure that you have passed at times. It grows wild around in my area here. And I use the nettle root and also the stems. And I make a tincture of that. And I put a few drops of that into this bottle. And the Native Americans have used nettle as one of the major things in their pharmacopoeia. It has been used for thousands of years for allergies, hay fever. If you have hay fever, make a nettle tea. Your hay fever will just disappear. Okay. Um, what also it helps very much so is with prostate, and also with the whole, for women, with the whole, uterus and the whole bladder and all kidneys. It helps with that to keep it alkalized and keep it in balance. Nettle balances everything. They call it the great blood purifier also. And it even helps with some of the lung problems, like with congested lung problems. Nettle tea helps wonderfully with that. So we have nettle in here for that reason. I also put wild ginseng in here. And this is an American ginseng, which is one of the best ginseng that you can buy. They are becoming a little more rare because wild ginseng, which is the most potent one, is not found as much anymore. But in the Ozarks and in the northern countries where it is cold in the winter, really cold in the winter, ginseng needs real cold in the winter. It goes to sleep, and then in the spring it comes up. And then there are people that go into the woods and hunt wild ginseng just like mushrooms. They know with the leaves, what the leaves look like, and then they dig up the root, and the ginseng looks almost like a little man. It has these arms around, and it says that it benefits the entire body. Again, also, it balances and gives energy. It helps the immune system to work better, a stronger immune system.
There
So we have wild ginseng in there.
we
Yes.
have a question. It says, how how do you make a tincture? Tincture.
You can make a tincture in many different ways. One of the ways is that you use alcohol and you cook the alcohol off. Now, when you do that, don't use a gas stove, okay? Use an electric burner. I have a little electric cook burner that I use outside, and I put it into a shallow pan. Put all of I make CBD oil like that too. I put the herb in there, in the alcohol. Then I warm that a little bit. Then I take that from from that, because the alcohol extracts it right away. So you take that and you put it through a strainer so that you don't have the leaves in there and you don't have the plant matter anymore in there. You squeeze it out, and now you have what is left is the alcohol. Now you cook it down to the consistency that you like. I usually make it so that it's still liquid, not totally gummy, because that's very hard to handle. So it's still liquid. And then I pour it into a container, let it cool, and then I keep it. And I use just a drop of that. But you can make it also by boiling it. You can boil it, make a very strong tea, boil it for at least 10, 20 minutes. Then you strain it, and you can do that a couple of times, both ways, the alcohol way and the tea way. You can use the same plant matter several times. It makes several tinctures. You can also make a butter a coconut butter, where you take the plant matter and put coconut butter into a like a slow cooker. Put it on the lowest one, on the lowest setting of the slow cooker. Put all the plant matter in there and let that steep for 3, 4, 5 hours. Then you strain it out and you have a coconut butter that you can also use. However, if you put a coconut butter into this bottle then with all the other liquid, it will not dissolve in there. So you have the coconut butter swimming up on top. So that is not working that well. But you can use that, take a teaspoonful, or half a teaspoonful, or use it on to cook with. Nettle works very well for that. So now you have three ways of making a tincture with
We have another
this.
question.
Yes.
Are there remedies for overactive thyroid?
Yes, they are. Yes, they are for overactive thyroid. And thyridium is one of the things. Look it up. Look up thyridium. And also look up the symptoms. When you're looking for a remedy, here's what you do. You take the sum of your symptoms, like, for instance, overactive thyroid. You very likely have big mood swings, and also you either are so hungry that you can eat the house down, or you have no appetite. Thyroid is the one that balances your hormonal level, and that can widely swing in either direction when you have a problem with your thyroid. So what you want to do is you want to look up and say over anxiousness, over excited. What is the remedy for that? Then read through the remedy totally. See if at least two or three of the symptoms that are mentioned in this remedy correspond with what you have. If you do, try that remedy. Often it works. But you have to have a minimum of two or three things that work with that. Thyridium does work for many people with thyroid problems. Okay, did that answer the question?
We'll
Did
find
you
out.
try thyridium already?
Um, we'll wait for an answer.
Okay.
And meanwhile, same person that asked about the um tincture or the tea, leaves, stems, and roots.
Yes. Some, like for instance, if you want to make, especially from nettle, you can make a root tea, or you can make it from leaves and stems. I usually don't like to um, dig up the entire root, because then I don't have any more nettle.
Right.
Nettle, even though it grows wild and it's a weed, uh, it it can you can just you pull it out, and in that area it doesn't grow again once you take the roots out. So you don't want to do that. So what I do is I cut in the fall, I cut the nettle totally off like this, leave the root in, and then when it gets a little colder, I dig up some of the root, on the side of the plant. I go to the side like about an inch or two away from where the stem was, and I dig in there and I pull out some root, and I take some of the root out and I put it into my tincture. Then I make the tincture. But you cut everything, chop it all finely up, and you make the tincture with it. In fact, by the way, you can make a CBD oil, which CBD oil is made from marijuana, and CBD does not have the THC, so you don't get high. And every time I'm telling that, people that say, "Oh, you don't get high." Oh, well, yeah, I mean, And on top of it, it's illegal. So, still, hopefully not for much longer. But CBD oil has only the medicinal qualities. It does not have the mind altering qualities. So you're very safe with that. So you are not going to feel disoriented or feel like you're high or whatever. Um, Anything else?
No,
Any other questions?
no.
Uh, okay, so let me keep going here. Astragalus is also in this bottle. And astragalus is an energy supplier because it increases blood flow, like ginseng also. It improves the immune system. And they have not concluded the test for it, but they believe astragalus is mildly antiviral. So if you have a cold, you want to take astragalus. Now, astragalus is also called ashwanga and is one of the foremost Asian herbs for good health. And I had asked the last time for you to maybe come up with a name for this formula because I still have not found the correct name for this. I would love to call it something that describes what is happening when you take it. So that's why you need to have a bottle to find the benefits of it. And I'd be glad to send it to you, no cost, no nothing. I will not ask you to now subscribe afterwards to months long or every month that you get a new shipment. No, 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 no. All you have to do is promise me that you will tell me what you experienced, what the results were when you were taking it. Okay?
Uh,
The other ingredient, you all have heard of it, is turmeric. Turmeric is a wondrous herb. I use it at least once or twice a week on foods. I have turmeric powder. I put it on almost everything. I contribute that and garlic and olive oil to some of our good healths that we do have. And then there is CBD oil in there. I had also put a little rosebud in here, which is really more for the taste. So it doesn't taste so herbally and so earthy. The rosebud makes it a little nicer and a couple of drops of honey to make it a little sweet. However, this is not anything for children. This is a grown up remedy that you take 1 teaspoon in the morning for your good health. And what it does is will help you sleep. It will alleviate pains and aches that you may have and will boost your energy and boost your immune system. And you can't really ask much more from something. I have tried it. Several of my clients here have tried it. It's not something new. I've been doing it for quite some time. Now I want to give it to you. I want to, after I have sent out the 10 bottles, I will then start to market it, and it will be marketed at $49.50. To you, it will be right now free, totally
one
free.
one more quick question here is about the nettle, I guess, because can you use dried as well as fresh? I said no,
All,
probably fresh.
all, yes, good question. Very good question. And I should have said it. All herbs you want to dry first, then make your tincture. If you make a fresh herb, it has not developed the properties, the healthful properties as it should. So it all should be dried. So Get yourself a bundle of nettles, hang them from the ceiling, let it dry. Once it's dry, strip off and once it's dry, it will not sting you anymore either. Okay, so when you harvest it first, I usually wear gloves because nettle will sting you, will evoke blisters. Okay, so you don't want that to happen because those blisters they can be painful. Depending on how good a nettle it is. A good nettle should really produce big blisters. But how would you know that, right? Before starting it.
You let
So
it you let
look
it
at the,
you let it sting you, and then you know.
then you know. Yeah. Well, there's a different way. You can see how deep green the leaves are. If the leaves are deep green and the leaves are really at least this big, okay? See my hand? Leaves have to be at least this big. When they are, and they are deep, deep green, you harvest the plant. And you don't need a lot. You really don't. Um, two or three or five stalks usually is more than enough. And I usually have, and I put them into, once they're dried, I put them into an old pillowcase. I tie it up. This way it stays dry, but it does not, humidity does not change the leaves, or you have a problem with humidity. Because if you're in an area where you have a lot of humidity, you may have a problem. Okay. You can also take it, if you want it faster, you can put them into a low oven. Put your oven on the lowest temperature. Put a tray full of the leaves in there, leave them overnight. Next morning, they are dry. That's the fast way. Okay.
Okay.
So, yes.
No, that's it.
Yeah. So, there you have it. You do want to have, and I don't know if I mentioned cat's claw is also in here. And cat's claw is one of those remedies, one of those herbs that is from South America. And any pain, like arthritis pain, joint pain, um, pain that comes from inflammation and a low immune system, I put it in here. So that if you use this as directed, you take a teaspoonful in a half a glass of water, drink it down. Okay? Don't take it straight from the bottle. It does not work as well. So when you have the water, leave it in your mouth for a moment. Get it through all of your crevices in your mouth so that the mouth is nicely coated with that. And why do we want to do that? Is because the blood barrier in our mouth is very thin, so it's very easy to be absorbed by the blood. When you take it in your mouth, keep it in your mouth for a couple of minutes, not a couple of minutes, couple of seconds, and then you swallow it. Because when you just take it in and it goes right into your digestive system, much of it will be lost. You want the properties to go right into the bloodstream. And that's the best way to do it. So that's why we put a teaspoonful into a half a glass of water. We take a swallow. You don't even have to drink that half a glass of water, all of it. You can just drink part of it. Keep it in your mouth for a couple of seconds, squish it around a little bit, and then swallow it. It tastes pretty nice. It's not yucky tasting, okay? I made sure of that because I know you can't sell anything that tastes bad. So you have to make it taste nice. And the honey and the rosebud in here will make it taste nice. All right. Well, so there you have it. So please, homeopaths number 4, me, all one word, add, Live, live.com. I hope you guys take advantage of this. It's a very generous offer, and I really would like to send those 10 bottles out and have your opinion. If you like doing that, and you're helping not only yourself, but with your comments on it, then you will also be helping to make this even better. I know it's already perfect, but you never know. You can I can always find something, maybe that I can tweak it a little bit more, maybe add a little bit more of one, take maybe exchange one for the other. But I need your help for that. So if you want to do that, you have a whole bottle for free. It will last you, bottle should last you a minimum of 4 to 5 weeks. If you take a teaspoon of that, you can add a little water to it if it gets too low, so you can make it last a little longer. All right. So there we go.
Yep.
That was it. Do we
That was
have
pretty...
any other questions?
No. It says, thanks. Lots of good info.
Thank you so much for your questions. They were helpful. It always makes it so much nicer if we do know that you're listening and that you want to have an answer to that. That's what I'm here for. Okay. I will see you all next week at 12 o'clock. We will have a brand new show. That show will, I don't know what it will be, but if you send me an email and say, why don't you talk about such and such? You know what? I usually prepare the show like Monday, Tuesday, so then I know by Sunday of what I'm going to be talking about. And if you would like for something like about your pets or about your grandma or about your child or whatever it is, email it to me. If I can fit it in, I will consider it and love doing it. Okay? Amnon, it was a fabulous show.
Yes,
Thank
it
you
was.
very much.
Thank you.
And I see you all next Sunday. Bye-bye.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. Our weekly lineup of call-in programs includes Computers 2K Now with Amnon Nissan, My Life, My Will with Gisela DiCarlo, The Tanya Love Show, Health Then with Debbie Bruck, Breaking Free with Marilyn Shannon, Triangle Be Well with Howard Jacobson, Lunch and Learn with Rabbi Yisrael Cutler, Lessons of Vietnam with NCVVI members, Current Affairs with Amnon Nissan. And if you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section on nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by Atomos.com, makers of quality video recorders and converters, CarolinaApparel.com, and DeltaForce.net.